Two, one. Dun, 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 dun. Today, on this edition of Sau'Ai podcast, we will further dive into Hawaiian Airlines. Yes.
Fixes and how bad was the body camera?
So,
Thank you, sir.
yesterday's
We've
story,
been doing some reporting along with AMAC and like this little.
yesterday's story regarding a passenger, a friend, McCann L. Utu, traveling from Honolulu to Pago Pago International. Pago Pago International? Pago Pago.
Pongo Pongo.
Pago Pago International Airport. And he was kicked off the flight. Why? Well, there are several factors to it.
But do we really know why? Hawaiian Air never said.
The way I never said. And, it's sad because Hawaiian Airlines from here, American Samoa, is very accommodating. You know, good people here, our friends and relatives that work for Hawaiian Airlines are very accommodating.
The people that work here are extremely accommodating, and they work for their people extremely hard. But is
Yeah.
it that way throughout the whole company?
Well, that's just the thing with corporate. You know, it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, that an action of one or two people can affect that.
Well, I remember having a problem with Hawaiian Airline in 2014? It was right after Dina was born. And we were on our way back from Hawaii. And the server dumped, a coffee pot on your knee?
Yeah.
It was hot coffee. I remember that.
Yeah, what do I remember?
And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, nothing to wipe you off with. No ice." I thought she would have brought ice. But it just felt like you were being treated like a second class citizen, you know?
Well,
And
Hawaiian Air, that's unfortunate.
so let's talk about your buddy's issue. So he got on the plane.
Before, um, yeah, so so far we know that he was on the flight.
Right? And he had his trumpet on, correct?
Regardless, I mean,
But evidently this seems to be the bone of contention here.
well, you could say that.
Okay.
But to where the video picked up, a lot of people have criticized McCann. As we were talking about McCann Utu and Hawaiian Airlines Flight 465 from Honolulu to Pago Pago yesterday, that he was unfortunately kicked off the flight. I don't know. You know,
So I'm going to play devil's advocate.
hold on, before you please up this bad if you want. So, push it to, yeah. Turn the volume down.
Dude, I'm as low as I can go.
Sorry, down. We're just working through on something.
Okay. I have no idea. I'm gonna leave.
Hold on. No. Okay. Let's try that. Okay.
Hi.
So the thing about Hawaiian Air is this is not the first. This is not Grand Hooks at the last. Feedback coming through from.
If I have my phone off. Nope.
Your volume all the way down in your phone?
I believe so.
How's that?
I don't have any feedback to you. See on. Oh, there it is.
Feedback.
Hold on. Media volume down. Call volume.
I'm going to take you to the next room.
Hey.
Can you say hi?
Hola, ¿cómo estás, everybody?
Okay. So, we're discussing Hawaiian Airlines and their policy.
But is it their policy or is it just this one dingbat?
I don't know. It's just, to me, it just sounds like a personal attack or someone that think that they were attacked personally. You know, a little bit of background on it. Mr. McCann, who paid for a seat. Yes, he paid for a seat, 47.
C. H or C?
H. And, you know, it's exciting for people to honor the people that they call heroes, which would be, I'm excited about Leonard Skinner or, you know, Iron Maiden or Def Leppard. So I wear Def Leppard t-shirt. I admit it. Used to. And now I'm a big thing is Wu-Tang. So if I'm going to go into a public space, let's say a plane, and there are people there that don't like Wu-Tang. And I was told to, let's say it was not a full flight, you know, I was wearing a Wu-Tang shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody or the flight attendants have a really bad have a thing against Wu-Tang because they don't like the explicit lyrics,
Okay.
you know, shouting, hurrah! So if they didn't like that, they projected their personal views onto that. What does that have to do with the flight? So there's 27 seats available in the plane, and then they say, there's room to move around freely because of the seats on the plane. And then I would say, well, I like this seat because it's the same number, it's a seat, like C-47, and it's the same number of the seating that I had during my last Wu-Tang concert, C-47. And then you see the change in the person's attitude, the flight attendant's attitude, about, well, I smell alcohol. But don't you serve alcohol on the flight?
How many don't get plastered on a flight. I'm just saying.
It's flying 4.5, 5 hours to back to Samoa. I mean, some people have drinks before they get on the plane, but at what point do the flight attendant get the flight attendant feel free?
Well, what did okay? So what I understand happened is she asked him to move his seat, and he said, "Well, I specifically paid X amount of dollars extra so I could have this one seat." And this is the reason why, because I'm Republican, Trump supporter. Okay. That's just to fill that part in. Um, when she asked him to move, she really didn't tell him. When he asked why, she didn't say anything. And is per what I can see, what I've read. So, I mean, I would want to know why. If it's for balance or something for the plane, then say, hey, dude, it's because of the balance of the plane. It's not a full flight. We have to equalize everything, blah, blah, blah. And, I get that, but he should have been told that,
Yeah.
you know? And then you storm off and you have some other flight attendant come up and say, we're not, my crew is not safe with you on this plane. Excuse me? Like, who's getting paid to do their job? Like, serious? Are we all such pansies now? Is it the new generation? If we don't like it, we're going to get rid of it by any means possible? I mean, come on.
Okay, backstory Hawaii. We live in American Samoa. Hawaiian Airlines here, people here.
Awesome.
I mean, there are a few things like people have complained about Hawaiian Air, but it's not all the time. It's not a constant barrage of complaints.
Mm-hmm.
So Hawaiian Air here at the station in American Samoa are very good with accommodating people, getting people on flights, getting people who need assistance on the flight.
Absolutely.
I mean, they go above and beyond.
And those people that take people off and on those flights and they push those, they push up these heavy carts and everything. I get kudos to you, because not only do you have to be in shape, but I mean, you have to be on your best A behavior, best A personality.
Right.
Right? And they do it every flight. So thank you so much.
No, I mean, sometimes they need assistance, but it's not working properly. And, kudos to Hawaiian Air, especially my main man, Haluti Malito. I'm one of the countless Hawaiian Air employees who do their job right, do it great. I mean, with sometimes so many things, but they go through a lot of stress and ticketing and checking. So when you get into the flight attendants, I'm sure they have to deal with unruly passengers all the time. All the time. But this seems like something more than that. If, let's say, the last time I flew out of here back to California, which was in 2011, and we were able to afford first class, and I had a Manu Samoa t-shirt on, I remember, and I was in first class. And there's some more flight attendant, older lady, Kiranada, what I remember her name. But the attitude she had towards me, she looked at my shirt and she looked at me up and down with disgust on her face. Why, you don't like Western Samoa or Samoa? And just that, with the mechanics, it reminded me of that. Immediately, that's profiling.
Absolutely.
You're judging someone on what they're wearing. So, McCann had a mega hat on, and people still have a problem with that.
Well, that's what you call freedom of expression. You're allowed to voice. You might not always like the other person, but that is your right. That's your right. That was his right. And if she didn't like it, suck it up. Suck it up. It's This is your job. This is what you get paid for. They're paying you. And I worked in public. I worked public my whole entire life. And there's days I had to deal with crazy on an hour-to-hour basis, and you don't do that. She caused an issue. She walked away from that issue and let somebody else handle it. Or they handled it for her because they didn't think that she was handling it properly, maybe.
So, under the rules,
Yes.
policy, let's discuss that.
So,
Tell me about that.
okay, so not really feeling one way or the other. I got on Hawaiian Air, their little website, and it says Rule 25, refusal to transport / limitation of carrier. And I looked through everything that could have been applied, and it says Rule 25, refusal to transport, limitation of carrier, and it says all kinds of stuff. If government requests, passenger, if you don't have your proof of identity, they can boost you. If you don't have your travel documents, your conduct, okay, it says sub E, voluntary refusal for the removal of the passenger for their safety or others. So a person whose conduct is disorderly, intimidating, obscene, abusive, or violent. I didn't see that. I didn't even see him raise his voice.
Well, it's wrong. It just was wrong the way it went down.
And my thing is if I believe the second stewardess came up and told him that he will be removed from the aircraft, or he can get up and leave. He said, no, I'm not going to do that to my people. I wouldn't make them stay here. It's like, well, we can revoke you another flight. If he was being, and he sounded totally normal, way more mellow than I know I would have been, because there would have been some new languages made up. And he got off the plane on his own accord.
And they even called the sheriff.
They called the sheriff's department, which that's probably just standard operating procedures. Yeah, they humiliated him. However, I think he held his head up with dignity. He might not have liked it, but I've been waiting for the girl after work. That's just me, though. But he held himself up with dignity. He did the right thing. He didn't argue. All he wanted to know is why. WHY, why? Why couldn't they tell him what it was?
Why?
Because they didn't because it was based on this person's feelings that she was unsafe. Why? Because he's brown? Because let's get to the point of the matter.
Why didn't you even just ask him, I smell alcohol? Well, you serve alcohol on the plane. But
yes.
That premise to remove it because they smell like alcohol. Because if it is premise to remove people from a plane when they smell like alcohol, then half the plane should be deported.
Amen on that.
Because they keep playing now, alcohol smelling people. And why is it, Hawaiian Air Corporate is some kind of wonderful. I mean that facetiously. We pay a lot here in American Samoa. The people in American Samoa pay a lot of money. A lot.
More than.
It's $1,800 round trip. To Honolulu, and to go from Hawaii to Europe, $400.
How much is it? How much was it from California to Hawaii? Because that's about same thing. What, 4.5 hours?
Yeah, it's about. It's not it's domestic destination. So there's a difference in that, but it uses the same amount of fuel. So I don't know. Trying to reach out to Hawaii Air last night and this morning, and no one would come on or no one would give a statement. So now let's go back to the McCann situation.
Yeah.
So McCann was kicked off the flight. Didn't even need a reason why. The only thing that is because it smelled like alcohol. Right?
But they did not tell him that was the reason they were taking him off the plane.
Right. They didn't even give a reason.
The reason why is because the second stewardess that came up had said that you're a threat to my crew.
How is that being true?
I guess because he's big and Samoan.
What?
And this is coming from me.
Yeah, white people.
Yeah, well, part white, but all I can say is like you're the employed. This is your job. Why couldn't you just? This is your job. He wasn't bothering. He's an older man. It's not like he's 25 years old and hopped up on steroids. I mean, come on.
How would you handle it if you were a flight attendant? Let's say there were 27 seats available on the plane because it was the full flight.
Okay.
So then you go out to the passenger and say, well, feel free to move amongst the seats for your comfort because
it's not a full flight.
Available. Then you, or then the person sitting in the seat, being deprived because they purchased that particular seat to honor each particular person, right? Which is his right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When he identified that, then all of a sudden there was a problem.
There was hostility, but from the,
hostility.
Yeah, but not from him.
Okay. Now, comments coming in from a different thing that posted about the Lone Star Samoan saying, well, now he has to walk this off. People chiming in, well, you should do what they say and do what they say.
So we're all supposed to be sheep and follow because someone's
paid for the seat.
That's exactly the problem I have. If he had paid for that exact seat, I could understand. If it was a reason that the plane had to be balanced out, then let him know.
It's a question. So, besides this, what else I did not tell you at this point? I think the turning point in all this that validates McCann's claim is they should rebook him after they kicked him off.
Mm-hmm.
Who does?
That made no sense. If Mr. McCann was a danger prior to, why is he not a danger now? It doesn't make any sense.
Because they probably felt guilty.
Well,
they probably felt it was their fault.
It's harassing him, harangue, annoy, molest.
They wronged him.
And the intentional infliction of emotional and mental distress.
It just reads racial profiling.
Absolutely.
Defend Hawaii all you want. Defend Hawaii all you want. But when they offered to rebook him on the same flight, wasn't he removed because he posed a danger to the crew?
Yes, that's exactly what it said.
Wasn't he removed because they felt uneasy about him smelling like alcohol? Why did they rebook him? Because he felt guilty.
Or because somebody knew what that one stewardess did was way wrong.
And you trying to avoid a lawsuit. That's what I think.
And Mr. McCann, I have some really good attorneys in LA if you want to holler at me. I was in the legal game for about 26 years.
There you go. So let's come back to that. Let's go to another issue. You want to discuss the American Samoan government?
I don't think there's enough alcohol. Are we talking about the old government or the new government?
Let's talk about the new government.
Okay.
All right. American Samoa government with Governor Pula and Lieutenant Governor Pulu are in the second month of operations. The first month, as with any administration, is rocky and has turmoil, which is expected because we had 8 years of Lolo and then an additional 4 years with the amount who was Lieutenant Governor for Lolo. So that's like 12 years of that administration.
Okay.
Now in the administration, and people are up in arms because things are not happening fast enough, or they're not getting the results that they perceived or have been forward. But what do you think is the problem with it?
Well, it's politics in general. Isn't politics always like this? I mean, let's be real. This is just the game of politics. And plus, you have a brand new admin coming in to something that was kind of not left in the most orderly and tidy fashion for them. And so now they really had to play catch up. And 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 then there's all this drama about, well, who's this and who's going to be that, and I want this and I want, that all gets seeded out in time. They might have people in there acting as, heads, supervisors, whatever, admins, but, is that going to be forever? No. They're actually looking at everything. They have a whole picture to look at where we don't get all that. We only have this small little corner of the picture that we get to see what's going on, and we're making assumptions on that.
Yeah, I still think that the people have a right to expect results, but I think it's coming in too early.
Right.
As with anything, we're going through the overhaul, right? We're going through the overhaul, like Donald Trump is doing the American.
Oy
We're finding out all these things with USAID, all these foreign aid, and yet there's still a boomtown homeless in California.
yeah.
We live in such segregated communities now. You know, I've always wondered why people, especially people of color, or brown people like me, end up in gated communities.
Excuse me.
Well, what do they have to fear? Well, they fear their own people because a lot of these blue states have been destroying their economy, destroying their community, and they blame the Republicans. No,
But the Republicans turn around and blame, the Democrats for all this other crap. So it's can I say it this way? And forgive me if I can't. It's a P on P kind of situation. I'm gonna pee on you, and you're gonna pee on me, and see who can pee the most.
and, the bad thing about it is everybody gets wet.
Ew.
It's like being in the wind.
And you have experience there, right? I'm just kidding.
So let's go from there to
But when we're talking about this government real quick, we gave Lamano and them were in there for years. And they had their setup because they had already been established. Got to give these guys a chance to establish. And honestly, I would be saying whether it's Republican or it's Democrat, because I never vote on party lines. I always vote the subject matter. But they're established. You got to give these guys a second to put their roots down. They got to get some roots. They got to have something to cling on to. They got to figure it out. And it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be bumpy, 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 bumpy. Especially, right now. Hey, 6 months from now, who knows? No matter what side it would have been, transition takes time.
oh, just a newsflash. Regarding the American Samoa government, they have appointed a new attorney general.
What? Congratulations.
When Lang still
Yes, Ms.
half of 88.
Woohoo!
Yes.
1988. There you go.
1988.
We're proud of you. You're from the island. You serve the people. Thank you very much.
Went to our very own Victor Lake building.
Hey, St. T's.
Paris High School. Yeah, those two have been together since high school, which which stood the test of time.
Oh.
And she has done a lot for the Lord. He also.
Oh, heck yeah.
Victor, like he was the current principal for St. Teresa Elementary, which I was a part of the Teresa Elementary. And he's doing great things with that.
And he doesn't get a lot of help. And he does a lot. And like Mr. Stanley helps him out a lot over there. The staff over there is great. But, he's coach, he's principal, he's counselor, he's everything.
I think the softball team, the girls softball team that he coaches, is on their fourth championship year now.
What?
Yeah,
The older girls, yeah. Because I know he does older and younger.
yeah. So that's pretty much good. And, congratulations, went lengthily.
Woohoo!
You're going to do great things as Attorney General. Looking forward to it. All you Fox all graduates, girls in the office, let's get it through confirmation. Um, and since we're talking about law and government, let's talk about math.
Mhm.
Math.
Easy there, Grover. It's a word of the day.
Drugs, man. Drugs in American Samoa. It's still an issue. I mean, it's still an issue. It's forever going to be an issue. So let's go to the illegal drugs first.
Okay.
Illegal drugs, heroin's on island.
Really? Heroin?
Cocaine's been on island.
Well, yeah, that's since I remember.
Meth is like the popular child of it.
Because it's cheap.
And there's other things. I'm sure fentanyl. The whole thing with the transnational drug. Like we're the only United States port outside of America in the Pacific. But there are things coming in through Australia, New Zealand, by way of Asia, that are coming through Fiji, Tonga. Those communities are riddled with drugs. There's a spike in HIV, AIDS in Fiji.
That's shameful.
And it's
Other part. It's sad because here they are sprouting HIV, where in other parts of the world, they're curing it. And it's just.
well, they say it's needle sharing because there's drugs. There's so much available drugs. Well, the availability of meth and heroin in Fiji, especially, it's just astronomical. You last year there were bales of cocaine and meth that washed up to the shore,
Mm-hmm.
and children were finding it. Can you imagine? You live in a coastal town here, Riconi. I just not imagine cocaine and meth washing up on these shores.
I don't want to. I don't want to think that it's going to happen. But, I mean, it's still here.
Yeah, this some high fish.
Oh, the dogs. Can you imagine the dogs ripping open all those packages?
Wow, wait till you get to over that meth. It's an ongoing issue.
It's an ongoing issue because people here continue to use.
Well, that's why there's always going to be demand.
In a way, I mean, it's always a supply and demand. It's like that with food here. Supply and demand. Beef. Look at the eggs. $26 for a flat last week. I about fell over myself.
So that's like $1 something a day.
Yeah. I'm gonna start squeezing the chickens out here until they pop out eggs.
So now circle back to the
Meth.
meth. The promises of this administration are they're going to build a
Excuse me.
what's the name? A rehab center.
Hey, that would be nice.
Be close to your mind.
Get close. That would be nice.
That's it to materialize. I guess it's all in the funding.
Mm-hmm.
The governor has been back and forth, and he's about to be beginning for conferences in the DC, I believe, looking for this money. You got there's so many holes. The retirement is a hole. The public works department, the projects, schools, you name it. So we're going through this transition period. It's going to take some time, but we have hope that it's going to happen. Other than that, we have chances of precipitation, a little cloud in the sky.
Is there really? Oh my God, yesterday was so hot yesterday.
How was it?
My sweat had sweat.
You know, my armpit funk had armpit funk.
I hate it when your upper lip gets all perspiry. It's so gross, especially for a girl.
So there's a few alternatives, or there's a few things that we're trying to and helping in battling these drug issues.
What day is today?
PSA, if you are hearing the tsunami warning, it is just a test.
It is only a test.
Because it was announced on Facebook that they'll be testing it. If you're close to the community and you're hearing the tsunami warning, it is just a test. It is only a test. Do this regularly to test the emergency systems if they are working and to make people aware of broadcast systems. So that is our public service announcement for today. Here in American Samoa, we have been experiencing, but throughout the world and here in the Pacific Rim, a lot of earthquakes. And of course, those cause the oceans to draw back and create tsunamis. It is advised me that you do this announcement. It's just a test. It's only a test. There it is. Now comes the English version.
You ever what? I always wonder why is the English version so much shorter than the Samoan version?
Too many expressive words. Yeah. What did you say?
This is a test.
This is a test. It is only
Only a test.
This is the voice of the broadcasting system. So, yeah, we are going to take a break and come back in about 10, 15 minutes. Just going to go verify that it's just a test and get a drink and we'll come back. Yep, join us and we can go through this again.